Do you need a signature light cone for a DPS character? Arguably, yes, especially if it has a quality of life feature that can make your playing experience feel smoother. Having a signature light cone not only increases your damage, but also makes your team's rotation smoother and, in some cases, also makes your overall gameplay and experience feel better. Some DPS characters in Honkai Star Rail have this kind of signature light cone, especially with the newer ones like the Herta or Aglia. Back in the day, in 1.x, having a signature light cone is just a luxury thing. It will upgrade your damage, but not really affect your team rotation or gameplay. Take Seal and Jing Yuan, for example. Having their signature light cone will increase their damage by a noticeable margin compared to their free-to-play option. And since they also have some crit value in their signature, min-maxing your build will become easier. You can focus your Seal with critical damage build, since her signature has an 18% critical rate. And with Jing Yuan, you can also do the same thing, but in the opposite way, since his signature light cone has 36% critical damage. But with the newer DPS like the Herta, the bonus ability in her light cone is far better than a critical value. Her light cone will give you a skill point each time you release your ultimate with a minimum of 140 energy. And to make it even more broken, there's no cooldown at all. So if you use some energy battery characters like Huahua or Sunday, or maybe there will be even a better battery in the future, the Herta will also become a skill point generator for your team, instead of just becoming a DPS and critical damage buffer only. Can you imagine how broken she will become? Create a problem, sell the solution. It's already common knowledge in business that a company creates a problem and sells the solution simultaneously. I won't say whether this is wrong or right, since it's not my field. But if we take a look specifically at Honkai Star Rail, they actually did this a few times. Each character in Honkai Star Rail has their own unique mechanic. And in this mechanic, some of them have restrictions before you can fully utilize their true potential. But if you can't pass those restrictions, then your character will feel really bad in terms of performance and gameplay. It will greatly reduce their ability to become a completely enjoyable character. The first DPS character that has this gimmick is Acheron. It's true that Acheron is a really powerful DPS character in Honkai Star Rail. When she was released in 2.1, she literally power-crept any previous DPS before her by a mile. She's far better than Jinglu or Imbibitor Luni, which is the best DPS before her. And her presence created a new standard for the whole DPS character in Honkai Star Rail. There's no bad DPS after her releases. Only a DPS who is far better than Jinglu and Imbibitor Luni. You can take a look at Firefly, Fei Xiao, and Rappa, who dominated the meta, along with Acheron. But the problem is, before you can fully maximize Acheron's true potential and make her a ground-breaking DPS, you need to pass the restriction gate first. You need to collect some stacks by giving debuff to your enemies. The faster the better, because the majority of her damage, probably around 90% of her damage contribution, comes from her ultimate. And the only way to recharge her ultimate is by stacking debuffs to your enemies. So if you can't use her ultimate fast enough, you will suffer a big damage loss, and her performance will be greatly reduced. That's the problem with Acheron. Now, here's the solution. You can pull her light cone to make her debuff stacking faster. So instead of getting one stack only, you can gain 2 stacks each time she's getting her turn. It will totally help you to recharge her ultimate faster and make her gameplay better. We already have Jiaoqiu right now as her best in slot support who can help her with her stack problem. But back in the day in 2.1, there was no Jiaoqiu. The fastest way to recharge her ultimate is by using Trend of the universal market for your preservation character without sacrificing her damage. But this light cone, even though it can help her fast enough, the ability that helps her with her stack has a gotcha issue. You need to hope that your enemies will attack your preservation character and has enough effect hit rate to inflict the debuff. That's why you can't rely on this, so you need her light cone instead, which has a guaranteed debuff. Acheron is a great DPS with a big restriction, and her restriction is big enough to make her performance suffer greatly if you don't manage it correctly. Having her signature light cone is one of the best ways to help you deal with it. Yunli's signature light cone also has the same issue. Yunli's gameplay revolves around counterattack mechanics. So you want Yunli to get attacked as much as possible. And her light cone can help you solve this problem, since it can grant you a significant amount of aggro. Yunli will get attacked much more often because of her light cone, and as a result, Yunli is not only dealing more damage, but also making her whole gameplay feels complete. Quality of life upgrades are always important in any kind of game. But the thing is, quality of life upgrades have different ways of delivery. Some games might deliver it right in the game itself, so everyone can enjoy it. There are no restrictions at all before anyone can use it. This means a totally free upgrade. However, some other games hide this quality of life upgrade behind a character. Take a look at Genshin Impact, for example. Natlon characters have a unique gimmick where all of them have an exploration mechanic. Mavuka can ride a motorcycle to drive on land, sky, and water. Chaska has a giant weapon to help her roam the sky freely, benching Wanderer forever. They added a restriction where the duration of the Natlon character's ability to explore outside Natlon will be reduced by a significant amount. But still, I don't see that as a problem at all. I use them when I explore Mondstadt, Liyue, or wherever it is. And if I'm being honest, the moment I play with Natlon characters, it's very rare for me to use any other characters in Genshin Impact when I explore Teviot. Their exploration mechanic is just too good compared to others. But for the people who don't pull them, then, unfortunately, they can't enjoy it. In Honkai Star Rail, the biggest and the first character to have this quality of life upgrade is Acheron. Her technique can instantly defeat any kind of mob. It will greatly reduce your time to farm for materials. Even though it's not as good as Acheron's technique regarding quality of life upgrade, the Herta's signature light cone is still a great quality of life upgrade for your gameplay. The problem with the Herta is that she's a skill point hungry character. To make things worse, her team also needs a lot of skill points, especially the second Erudition character, since you need to attack all the enemies and recharge their energy as soon as possible. And the best way to do that is by using their skill instead of basic attack. So that's where the Herta's signature light cone comes to save the problem. With her bonus skill point each time she uses her ultimate. The difference in comfortability between her signature and others is really impactful, at least for me. Her signature mitigates the only downside of her kit. And if we look at Aglia's signature, it still brings a good quality of life upgrade from another light cone, especially since there's not much option at the moment. Her signature light cone will give Aglia 12 base SPD, meaning that any other SPD buff will also affect that 12 base SPD. It's a great thing since her best gameplay is a fast Aglia, and having her signature is important if you want to build her this way. That 12 base SPD bonus will reduce your suffering in finding the best SPD substate from relic farming, so it actually also has an indirect effect on your playing experience.